friends, today our is chapter 11, thermal properties of matter. Okay, so in this chapter, first topic is temperature and heat. See, temperature and heat, these phenomena are completely different from each other. Temperature, what is temperature? Temperature is a relative measure of hotness or coldness of a body. If some substance having more temperature means higher energy level of heat energy, right? So that hotness level means high temperature, and if that substance is cold, then low temperature, right? So SI unit, temperature SI unit, we are taking as Kelvin, which is denoted by K, right? But commonly used unit of temperature is degree Celsius or degree Fahrenheit. Okay, so conversion from degree Celsius to Kelvin. So here we have one formula which is TK is equal to TC plus 273.15. So we can easily convert degree Celsius to Kelvin, right? So that's our temperature. Now heat. So heat is the form of energy flow between two bodies or between a body and its surrounding by virtue of temperature difference between them. Is, for example, here if we have one boiling water, right? So that water have high heat energy is comparing with the surrounding, right? So surrounding have low energy. That's why that boiling water just gives excessive heat to the surrounding. So there is heat conversion between surrounding and that boiling water, right? So heat is one type of energy, that's why its SI unit we take it as joule, capital J. Now commonly used units are calorie. So here we have one conversion, 1 calorie is equal to 4.186 joule. Okay, so see, heat transfer, heat direction is always same. That direction is from higher temperature system to lower temperature system. So heat always flows from higher to lower temperature systems, right? Then measurement of temperature, observation of thermometric property with the change in temperature and comparing it with certain reference situation. Reference situation is generally ice point or steam point. Is, for example, if we are taking water example, right? Ice point of water is 0 degree Celsius and steam point of water is 100 degree Celsius. So we can measure in between them, right? Celsius and Fahrenheit temperature scales. See, Celsius scale start from ice point, and that ice point temperature is 0 degree Celsius. Similar, steam point, here one correction, here steam point is always 100 degree Celsius, right? So water boils at 100 degree Celsius. That's why we take steam point of Celsius scale is 100 degree Celsius. Now for Fahrenheit scale, ice point similar, but here 32 degree Fahrenheit means ice point of water in Fahrenheit 32 degree Celsius, and steam point means water boils at 212 degree Fahrenheit in Fahrenheit scale, right? So see, here we can convert different Celsius scale to Fahrenheit scale. So for that conversion, here we have one equation, TF minus 32. See, why and how this formula comes from. So this formula, see, TF minus 32. Why minus 32? Because in Fahrenheit scale, that scaling starts from 32. So that's why here we have to write 32, right? And see, you can see from this digits that 212 minus 32 is 180. So here that difference between two scales in Fahrenheit scale. Similarly, we are talking about now degree Celsius. Now here that formula should be TC minus 0, but TC minus 0 itself is TC. So that's why only TC they have written here. Okay, and here 100. Why 100? Because this 100 minus 0, 100 minus 0 will be 100. So that's why we get this formula. Okay, now see here we are drawing that Fahrenheit versus degree Celsius scale. We know that as temperature rises we get straight line for different scale, because see all scales are different, means here Fahrenheit start from 32, so here 32, but degree Celsius start from 0, that's why here its scale is 0, right? So that's why here temperature rises for both is similar, that's why we get here straight line. Then absolute temperature scale, see absolute temperature. Now absolute temperature is in the unit of Kelvin. So ice point of water in Kelvin is 273.15, right? And steam point of water in Kelvin is 373, means plus 100 of ice point. So we can write that difference between this ice point and steam point is 100. Now conversion from degree Celsius to Kelvin, right? So degree Celsius we have to write here Tc minus 0 by 100, and to convert Kelvin we have to write here that Kelvin scale Tk minus starting point is 273, that's why we have to write here 273, and difference between ice point and steam point is 100, that's why we have to write here 100, right? See now here three scales are here: steam point, ice point and absolute zero. Scales are Kelvin scale, Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale. We know that Kelvin starts from here 0 Kelvin. Actually its ice point is 273, means water becomes ice at this temperature. Water boils at this temperature in Kelvin, right? For here Celsius scale, right, it is minus 273.15 degrees Celsius, but water become ice at this temperature 0 degrees Celsius. Water boils at this 100 degrees Celsius. Similar for here also, it is Fahrenheit. Here one mistake, here we have to write 32 Fahrenheit. Okay, so here it should be 32 Fahrenheit. Okay, now thermometers. So what is thermometer? Many times we use this device to check temperature. So instrument used to measure temperature of any system is called thermometer. Examples: liquid in glass thermometer, platinum resistance thermometer, constant volume gas thermometer. So inside the thermometer we are using that mercury mixed up with alcohol, and then we check temperature by that thermometer. So here by using that thermometer we draw one graph which is of pressure versus temperature. So pressure versus temperature graph for different gases, gas A and gas B. Okay, so gas A is of at different pressure and gas B is of at different pressure, right? But if we decrease pressure and temperature, we get particular intersection point of these two gases. So that intersection point lies at temperature of minus 273.15 degrees Celsius. So all the gases are behaving similar, their properties are similar at this temperature and 0 pressure. So here now, thermal expansion. So thermal expansion means if we are heating some substance and it just expand thermally, if we are just increases temperature of that substance, it will expand or contract. If we are just decreasing temperature, it can be contract, right? So this process is known as thermal expansion. So this expansion is in all the dimension, but here we have three types of expansion: linear, areal expansion and volume expansion, right? So here we got fractional change in dimension. It may linear, areal and volume. So it starts from linear expansion. If for any substance length will be increases due to rise in temperature, that is called linear expansion. Now inside that linear expansion, every material have its coefficient of linear expansion, which we denoted by alpha, right? So alpha here coefficient. What is coefficient of linear expansion? Increase in length per unit length per degree rise in temperature. So as we increase temperature, what is the increase in length? That is coefficient of linear expansion. So formula for that, delta L upon L is equal to alpha. Inside this equation, alpha is known as coefficient of linear expansion, right? Alpha into delta T. Delta T is the temperature difference, that 1 degree Celsius or 2 degree Celsius, whatever we are giving temperature to that substance, that difference, that is delta T. Then areal expansion, by name we can just assume that this expansion will be in 2 dimension, right? So increase in area per unit area per degree rise in temperature. Now area is in the form of 2 dimension, right? So delta A upon A is equal to beta delta T. Here beta is coefficient of areal expansion. And then the third is volume expansion. See, volume, which is in 3 dimension, right? So increase in area per unit volume per degree rise in temperature. Now volume. So for the volume, delta V upon V. See, delta V upon V, it is like strain, right? Volume strain. Delta A upon A, it is like somewhat like shearing strain. And before that, delta L upon L, it is like longitudinal strain. Okay. So gamma, here gamma is coefficient of volume expansion, and delta T the rise in temperature, means change in temperature. So as we can see that coefficient of volume expansion of copper as a function of temperature, right? Earlier we discussed about this ideal gas equation, which is V is equal to nRT by P, right? Actual equation is PV is equal to nRT. So here volume is directly proportional to temperature. So that's why we can write delta V upon V is equal to delta T upon T. So by that formula, gamma is equal to 1 upon T. So here we have one exceptional case, that is of water. See, for any substance, always if we rise temperature for any substance, that volume will be increasing. But here water, from 0 degree Celsius to 4 degree Celsius, that density increases. If density increases, that means volume will be decreases. So here 0 to 4 we are rising that temperature, but here water volume is decreases. So that's why water is exceptional case for only 0 to 4 degree Celsius. Then 4 to further degree Celsius are same for all. 4 to 100 degree Celsius, water rises its volume, right? So this is the graph of density versus temperature and volume versus temperature. Now see, we have one equation, gamma is equal to 3 into alpha, right? We know that gamma, what is gamma? It is volume coefficient, right? And alpha, it is coefficient of linear expansion, and beta is coefficient of areal expansion. Now we have to prove this formula, gamma is equal to 3 alpha. So we have to start from linear expansion formula, delta L is equal to alpha L delta T, right? So see, delta V is change in volume. Okay, so L plus delta L, here we have to write plus. So L plus delta L cube minus L cube. This formula comes from delta V, because see, if we are talking about volume in 3 dimensional, so here we are taking cube as 3 dimension. So volume of that cube will be length cube, right? So if we just now expand this formula, then we get L cube plus 3L square delta L plus 3L delta L square plus delta L square minus L cube. So this L cube gets cancelled out. We are left with only 3 terms. Now from this term, see, these two are of delta L term, delta L square. Delta L is small, and square of that delta L, again it will be very small. So we can neglect these two terms. So we are left with only this term, which is 3L square delta L. So our delta V is 3L square delta L, right? Now we can put that formula, delta V is equal to, now it becomes 3V upon L delta L. Okay, so now here 3V alpha delta T, that we get, which is delta V. Now V goes to denominator, delta V upon V is equal to 3 alpha delta T, right? So if we compare this equation with that our further equation earlier, so here that equation, right? So that equation we have, it is delta V upon V is equal to gamma delta T, right? And if you compare these two equations, then gamma will be 3 alpha. So this equation hence proved now, right? So here in case thermal expansion, now what is thermal expansion, is prevented inside the rod by fixing its end rigidly, then the rod acquires a compressive strain due to external force at the ends. Corresponding stress set up in the rod is called thermal stress. See, whenever we are talking about thermal expansion, there will be stress and strain, both are occurring in that particular process, right? So here delta V upon V alpha delta T, that is our compressive strain, right? And this equation known as thermal stress, gamma alpha L upon V is equal to sigma. If we just sigma T subject, then it will be gamma alpha delta T, right?